What's up, guys? Your man, yes, the Herman Star here, back with another one, another download video. I've recorded. This is my second time recording this because the first time I feel like, well, I didn't necessarily. I mean, I said what I wanted to say, but I didn't feel like I got the message off in the way that I wanted to, at least for this first part. Now, the second part of this video is the tarot read. I kept the tarot read in this video because I'm not gonna bust out the cards and do another reading and stuff. The cards is what we got, and I want to honor that. So yeah, timestamps of course will be for this message, and then for the tarot read, if you would like that, go ahead and feel free to skip ahead. All right, but as far as this message here, I felt compelled to do so because two reasons. One, for the podcast listeners, you know that, or maybe you should know, if you're an avid listener, I've talked about discernment. I've mentioned it before. I also mentioned how I wanted to do a dedicated episode on the importance of discernment within tarot. Discernment is something you should use in life in general, not just when it comes to tarot, but you know, since this is a tarot channel, I wanted to do that. Yes, this is going to be a crossover between the YouTube channel and what I'm doing with the podcast as well. If you're interested in the podcast, where I talk about spirituality, spiritual things, life, personal development, things of that nature, go right ahead and look in the description box below. You'll find the podcast there, the Earnest Thoughts Tarotcast. But this message here, like I said, the first part being because I wanted to make a dedicated episode about the importance of using discernment. But what also prompted me to do this episode was a reading that I saw. So I was viewing one of the, my favorite. I'm not going to say one of the, she is like my top reader. I was viewing her latest video, and she was doing a Virgo reading. And in that video, someone commented that they were married to a Cancer. But before I get into why that is relevant, in the very extensive message that she had for Virgos, one of the comments she made was, if you're with a Cancer, leave them. Now, the reason why she said that, it's not because she's, against cancers or whatever, but because in this message in particular, it seemed as though it was describing or talking to a Virgo who was with a Cancer. Oh, one of the messages, right, was describing a Virgo who was with a Cancer, who was pretty much jealous of that Virgo, pretty much holding that Virgo back, pretty much stifled the growth of that Virgo, pretty much did not want that Virgo to grow into anybody that Cancer did not want them to be, right? It's someone who was just a bad partner to that Virgo. Now, like with every tarot reading, especially these general ones, specifically really these general ones, if you are going to get a read from either myself or anybody else, you have to be able to discern whether this message is applicable for you, or again, it's not for or it's for somebody else, right? Hence the reason why, if it doesn't apply, let it fly, or take what resonates and leave the rest. These are why tarot readers such as myself say these things, right? Not because it sounds poetic, but because we are saying, hey, whatever I read here, whatever I say here within these cards, right? And you could take that same knowledge with the read that you'll see, after this message, right? Whatever message that is here, if it applies to your life, take it and apply it to your life. And it doesn't apply to your life, don't force it within your life. I say all that just to say, to the man who commented on, that woman's video, or anybody for that matter watching this, or may have watched her video, discernment is the best tool you need in life, especially within tarot, astrology, just in life in general, right? Tarot readers might not like me saying this, might call me a traitor, whatever the case is. I don't know how they thinking. To be honest with you, I don't care. No disrespect, but we are not the end all be all to your life, to your existence. You should not treat us and view us as any type of messiahs or whatever the case is. Now, is reading tarot a gift I believe that many of us have been blessed with? Absolutely, I do believe that. I believe I have been one of the readers who've been blessed with his ability to be able to read to folks. But aside from anything more than that, is your false idol, your false and forced. That's not what I want to say, but I'm gonna say it anyway. You're forced and false, I guess, idolizing of what a tarot reader is. And again, tarot readers might not like that. The ones with huge egos, I'm gonna say, won't like me saying that, but I don't care. You know, it has to be said because I don't want to lead anyone astray. Not that I feel as though I've ever led anyone astray. I make it abundantly clear in my reads. I don't know how the other readers get down, right? But I make it abundantly clear in my reads that I'm not, this is a read that if it applies to you, then even if it does apply to you and you choose not to take it for whatever reason, that is your choice. I'm not going to force you to try to accept some truth that is applicable to you, or some truth that isn't applicable to you simply because I read it. It's your choice at the end of the day. To put it real bluntly to the gentleman who commented, do not leave your wife or husband, whoever you're married to, because again, he mentioned that he was married to a Cancer. If things are going well in your relationships, people, and a tarot reader does a read and they happen to do a read for somebody of your sign, and they're talking to somebody who may share the sign of your partner, who may also share the sign of your partner, that doesn't necessarily mean it's your relationship. Again, in situations like that, you can't just take everything at face value and say, okay, it's applicable to me because I made this sign, my wife or my husband is this sign, my partner is this sign, and I'm this sign. It could simply just mean, okay, first of all, and not even could, it does mean, first of all, listen to the entire message in its entirety. I know short attention spans is crazy, but listen to the entire message. If not the entire, at least a good 80 to 90, 97 even % of the message, and then see if it really does apply to you, or if it just so happens that you're not the only Virgo out there with a Cancer spouse. With all the Virgos and Cancers, with all the other zodiac signs out there, you should really look at it from that standpoint and not from an individualistic standpoint of this is about me. Now, of course, if what, lovely lady Diane was saying, or if I said anything, or anybody else said something that really does fit your lifestyle, then I would encourage you once again to take what resonates and leave what doesn't. If everything resonates, then obviously then it all resonates. But again, using your discernment is how you decide that, not us. Us being the tarot readers, we don't decide what applies to you or not. When I say, hey, when I do these reads and I'm like, this is about you or whatever, I'm not deciding it. I'm simply just saying, hey, this is the energy that's here because this is the sign I'm reading for, right? Or somebody with this sign within their chart. It may not be their sun sign, right? But it may be somebody with, a Scorpio sign within their chart. And this message is relative to them, right? Whatever the case is, if it applies, it applies. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But use your discernment to be able to decide that. Don't listen to a reader. We're not in charge of that. We're simply here to read the cards. And if we want to provide any other services, me personally, my other services, maybe lending, maybe some advice on how to deal with whatever situation you're dealing with. or just someone to vent to if you need to. Those services aren't services that are going to be ready at your disposal all the time, especially not the venting service. I got a life too, and you know, I don't want to take on all that negative energy, and I'm just being real, right? Other people might have other services. Whatever the case is, at the end of the day, as readers, we're simply just here to read the cards, tell you what the energy is, tell you what the message is from God, your spirit team, the universe, your higher power, the higher powers in general, right? And that's it. You know, I know to some of y'all watching this, listening to this right now, you're like, we know this, right? And that's great that you know it, right? But it is a good reminder. That's number one. And number two, I felt, like I said, this was a very important message to put out. So, as I've stated, now I'm satisfied with what I said here. So I'm going to keep this part. And again, you'll see the reading right after this. You know, and like I said, I was going to do a general read for the folks out there who don't want me preaching shit, and you just like, we just came here for the reads, right? So we're going to get a message from the universe and see what's what. I'm going to start with the tarot per usual, and then we'll get into the oracle. Okay, we got 2 cards right now. Let's see if I can get at least one more, and that's what we have here. All right, so we start off with the 10 of Swords in reverse. This is, this could be a number of things. This could be relapsing, like you were on, like you just pretty much relapsed essentially. Maybe there was a path of something, or just maybe sobriety for some folks. I don't necessarily see, well, I don't know. Let me just put it that way. I don't know if this is, like, the relapse is relevant here, to be honest with you. But this also is the card of things ending, and just a lesson being learned here. You know, whether it's a relapse, whether it could be an end of maybe a relationship, you know, maybe, you know, and again, take it as it resonates, right? Whatever is ending here, to be honest with you, I do see that within your future, at least, or the energy that is needed of you is to pretty much, I'm not going to say let go. This isn't necessary. The 2 of Wands isn't necessarily let go energy, but it is more so having faith that things will be better. Having faith that things will go the way that you would want it to. You know, envisioning that life that you desire. You know, so whatever this relapse is, with that 10 of Swords in reverse, I don't think it's not like the end of your dreams or end of your goals, right? I'm guessing it's a financial relapse of some sort, where like financially you were doing well, maybe with like building something. And I say that because you have the 8 of Pentacles in reverse here. And I think there was just a relapse of some sort, maybe some bad money spending here. You got too cocky of some sort. The eight of Pentacles in reverse is also someone who lacks creativity. So maybe the dream doesn't have to die per se. The dream being whatever you want to, like whatever you're desiring with that 2 of Wands. So the dream doesn't necessarily have to die. Maybe you need to go about it in a different way. You know, it's not working anymore. The what needs to end real over here is really just how you're going about maybe funding that dream, or going about building your dream life. Really, that's the message. It's coming to me now. So like, how you going about building your dream life really is, you know, that's what really needs to change here, rather than you just giving up totally on the dream. Don't give up on it, but what needs to end is how you're going about building said life or dream life. So that's what I have for the tarot. Let's get us an oracle card here and, see what's what. If you haven't already, hit that like, comment, share, subscribe. All that is greatly appreciated. Put these damn cards away. So the card we got is Shield of Resilience. Employ your shield of resilience, guarding against external pressures while nurturing your internal strength in love and career. So that's what I have for us today. Again, hopefully you got a message from all of what I said here, whether it be from the reading or from the message before. And I just want to stress the importance of using your discernment, especially within tarot, but just in general. At the end of the day, it's your life, and you have the power to make up your life how you want to. It's okay to get guidance from people, from tarot readers, from astrologers, from other mentors, whatever, the other teachers, whatever spiritual leaders. It's okay to get that guidance and help, but ultimately it is up to you to decide what is right for you at the end of the day. So that's what I have for you. To be quite honest, I don't know what the next read or podcast episode is going to be. To be quite honest with y'all, I'm getting to the point where it's like I want to just do these things whenever I feel compelled to do so. So that's how I've been moving, really. So yeah, until next time, whenever that may be. If you want to stick around, cool. If you don't want to stick around, you know what to do. That's fine as well. All right, you be well.